Well, Marcus Rashford isn't happy about certain things that are really being traded around media about his future at Manchester United. And guess what's going to head to front this story? It's Fabrizio Romano. Welcome to United Matters channel. How are you guys and where you're watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Zidane Iqbal has joined the same agency that really manages Eric Ten Hag, and we're going to go ahead and really let you know what does this mean to the future of Zidane Iqbal at Manchester United as far as Erik ten Hag is really looking at him. And lastly, we are going to discuss a little bit of the congested fixture that United might find themselves play more games towards the finale of the FA Cup or the finale of the UEFA Europa League, provided we reach there. So smash the like button, comment and share, and don't forget to subscribe. Now, Marcus Rashford, as you wait for his news that is coming in from the scan, as I told you in the morning that the scan has been conducted and we're waiting to see what has come out of the scan. Fabrizio Romano this afternoon has gone ahead and really issued a story about Marcus Rashford. He said Marcus Rashford was not happy with the recent reports of crazy salary requests. He's understood to be really happy with how things are really developing at Manchester United and feels success is around the corner. New deal talks will continue soon. Rashford loves working under Erik ten Hag. Now, how did this unhappiness come in through? There was a journalist known as Kroos of the Daily Star who came out and said that Marcus Rashford is demanding for £500,000 a week. But Rashford said that's a lie, and he's so much focused on his season and he wants to really see United win the remaining two trophies there competitively, in that is the FA Cup and the UEFA Europa League. But unfortunately, he might not be able to play in any of those games. One in the semi-final of Brighton that's going to be played on the 23rd of April. That's it. Then on this Thursday, United is hosting Sevilla. That is going to be very hard for Rashford to come in through and really feature into those games, because it looks like he's having a growing injury that can keep him out for like a month. So it looks like he might not be that person to give us a hand into the road to either the finale of the FA Cup or the semi-final of the UEFA Europa League. So he's unhappy about the rumors being threaded around that he wants to leave the club of Manchester United, but they don't give him £500,000 a week. I understand, but you might come out and really know that when you're a public figure, such things will come in through. But the good thing that Marcus Rashford did was to reply to that to that tweet that was put out by Daily Star. And obviously, that journalist is back in the limbo. But Manchester United and Rashford being happy to sign a new contract with Manchester United, that is a positive story. But all what is really delaying or making delays into this is simple. Rashford wants to know who is going to be the owner of Manchester United. You know, owners seem to be so much obsessed of coming in with their own managers. I've seen it way back in 2003 when Abramovich took over Chelsea. Ranieri was there and he really did very well in his first season. When they bought him those players, he was sacked and was succeeded by Jose Mourinho, who had just won the Champions League away at FC Porto. Then when Todd Boehly came in through, you know, he sacked Thomas Tuchel. He brought in Graham Potter. He has gone ahead to sack Graham Potter. He has brought in Frank Lampard. So you might find ourselves in a situation of having a new owner that's not going to really keep Erik ten Hag at Manchester United. Yet, what is really keeping Marcus Rashford at Manchester United, give him the hope, is obviously Erik ten Hag. So in that situation, Marcus Rashford might not want to put pen to paper until the ownership of United is resolved. And how is it going to be resolved? Simple. Are the Glazers staying or the Qataris are coming in through? I think even if the Glazers stay, he will stay. And if at all the new owners come in through, Rashford will really tell them, I want to renew my contract or extend my contract at Manchester United. But what are your plans with Erik ten Hag? Because Erik ten Hag has turned me into a player that had never been ever in my career, scoring 28 goals this season. And I've gone ahead to score 6 more than my best ever season of 2019-2020. So I think he's really having a very huge point into that, but the contract discussions are really okay, and Ten Hag is really happy to keep him there. But this comes in through after Ten Hag came all dragged the Glazers for not really extending contracts of very many players. Luke Shaw was the first one to be extended, but there are very many players that Ten Hag wants to be part of his future at Manchester United, whose future has not been secured. Marcus Rashford, Diego Dallo, Luke Shaw, Alejandro Garnacho, and Fred. If you're having 5 players whose futures are not secured, then that will obviously put the manager into a panic mode to see to it that he really goes hard to the owners of the club and tell them, please, what are you doing? Do your job as I do my job. I've gone ahead to do my job. I'm even performing way better than you guys expected me to perform, but you are not really doing your job. Do your job as I go ahead and really do my job. Now, after that, Zidane Iqbal is one of the prospectful talents that Erik Ten Hag found at Manchester United. He loves the player. He knows how better this player can be. He refers to him as the best passer of the ball at Carrington. But he told us that there is no way he's going to come out and really just give a player a chance, yet that player has not given himself a chance to start into or to play a part into the first team of Manchester United. Zidane Iqbal has been on the bench several times, and most of us thought that maybe he would have found himself in a position of really getting some minutes like Kobe Mainoo has gone ahead to have. But Zidane Iqbal has not even made his debut under Erik Ten Hag for the senior team. So it shows you how hard it is for Ten Hag to really make that decision. But obviously that doesn't really pull him out or put him aside from the players he really trusts a lot at the club of Manchester United. But today we've gotten a story that has shown us that Erik Ten Hag really loves the player and is willing to really have him with him at the club of Manchester United. Now, we've been told that official Zidane Iqbal joins SEG football agency, the same agency as Erik Ten Hag. It is understood Iqbal was partly convinced to sign with SEG on the strength of their relationship with United manager Erik Ten Hag. Now, Ten Hag looks like he wants to make his relationship with Zidane Iqbal more and more stronger. Signing him on the same agency, sorry about that. Signing him under the same agency means that he can now be part of the decision makers of Zidane Iqbal, because Zidane Iqbal is just 19 years of age. Ten Hag sees him as those players that is going to be pivotal into his stay at Manchester United. Even when he moves away from Manchester United, it will be very easy to really sign Zidane Iqbal with him because they're under the same agency. And I think he now knows that it's the mistake he did with Frankie de Jong. If at all he had convinced Frankie de Jong to be signed under the same agency as him, it would have been easy for him to get in those kind of players. And I think he knows that you can easily influence a player to be under the same agency with you if at all he's still in the same age bracket. Sorry, if at all he's still in the age bracket of really being young. When you look at Zidane Iqbal at the age of 19, he's so much all forward looking into Erik Ten Hag, making him one of the best players in the world, as he made the likes of Frankie de Jong. So he cannot say no, and Ten Hag has known it now that I can easily recruit these players to be under my agency that also manages me, because when I happen to leave Manchester United, or if at Manchester United, it will be very easy to convince them to really sign contracts, because some agents make it hard for players to really accept contract proposals coming from the club, because they are really making it hard for the manager and they are really making in for ridiculous requests. But if at all Zidane Iqbal is at Manchester United and is signed under the same agency, that means Ten Hag can really tell the agency, please keep the player tell him to sign with the club of Manchester United, because by doing so, you are making my job better and better and better. And I think for Erik Ten Hag, he can do it with very many players at Manchester United. Garnacho, he can influence him. The likes of Facundo Pellistri, he can also influence him. Still young, Amad Diallo. So very many upcoming talent at United from the academy, the Higgles of this world, the McNeils of this world. He can really convince them to really put pen to paper with his agency, such that he has a very huge crop of players that believe in him and can get the job done and dusted at the club of Manchester United. So that is Erik Ten Hag for you, getting Zidane Iqbal onto his agency, something that's gone ahead to really look so much impressive. And now we know how much Ten Hag trusts the player, that is Zidane Iqbal, and he just doesn't want him to mess up. He's telling him, your time is coming, you're going to be one of the decent midfielders I'm going to produce at Manchester United. Take your time, sign with my agency, assurance is there, you'll get into the team. That is Erik Ten Hag. But me, I believe, if I'm Erik Ten Hag, I loan Zidane Iqbal. That is, I loan him out in the summer to see to it that he plays for some teams in the Championship or in the Premier League. Then he finds himself in a position of coming back at Old Trafford to compete for his position in the season of 2024-2023. Now, we are having lots of schedules, because we're having lots of fixtures that we need to really get out of our way, but it looks like it's just coming complicated. Though it's going to be hard for Chelsea to progress to the semi-final of the Champions League, but if at all they do, the only available slot to reschedule the game is the final week of the season, meaning that all those weeks are really going to be so much packed up. But will Chelsea go ahead and really find themselves in the semi-finals of the Champions League? Never say never, because things happen ridiculously and you just can't wait to see how they go ahead and really perform against Real Madrid on Wednesday, and they are just 2 games away from being in the semi-finals of the Champions League. But if although they are knocked out, then space will be there for United to operate into those limited days that will be there to refix that game of football. Remember, would have been in position to play against Chelsea on the 22nd or 23rd of this month. But remember, then we'll be playing our game of the semi-finals in the FA Cup against Brighton at the Wembley Stadium, meaning that we are going back to Wembley, and that has made it impossible for United to play that game of Chelsea. So we find ourselves in a situation that we can no longer play that game of football. It needs to be refixed. But if at all Chelsea find themselves in the semi-finals of the Champions League, that means there will be no day for that fixture to be refixed until the final day of the season. So let's wait and see how that's going to happen. That means if at all you find ourselves in a position really going through to the final of the FA Cup and the semi-finals of the UEFA Europa League, that means even May is going to be another hectic fixture that United is going to be holding to see to it that we play almost 2 games every week. That means ever since the World Cup ended and the season resumed, we've been playing 2 games every week, and Ten Hag is going to have to manage his players very well. So your reactions on to Rashford unhappy at Manchester United because of rumors that he wants to leave. Fabrizio Romano has going to have to confirm that with us. Then Zidane Iqbal joining SEG with Erik Ten Hag. What's your thought about that? Is it a signature or a signal that Ten Hag really values this player a lot and he wants really to be with him under the same agency? And lastly, what do you think about the hectic fixtures you're really having in here onto the United Matters channel? I sign out for now. See you later. May the Almighty God bless you abundantly. I'm out.